Hey mini enthusiasts, how you doing? Welcome back. I hope you're well and I hope you're having a great day. So in today's episode we are back on Project Bruce. There's quite a lot to fit in, so I won't waffle on. We're going to do a set of spark plugs, set of points, condenser, and then I'm going to cut out the offside front floor pan and hopefully get a new floor pan welded back in. So this is the start of the major sort of bodywork on the project. So like I say, a lot to fit in. I'll shut up, let's get straight into it. Right, so before I get stuck into chopping the floor pan out, it's running like a sick pig at the moment. I haven't really done much on it since I unseized the engine. I done the head gasket and then it sat outside and it's all damp under the bonnet, so all the inside of the cap's wet and that sort of thing, so that's probably not helping. But I thought while I'm here, we might as well stick a set of plugs in it, new set of points and condenser. I always use NGK plugs, I think they're the best. These are BP5ESs, which I believe are the right plug for a standard 998 automatic. There are always lots of different opinions on what heat plugs to use, but this is a standard automatic car, so I'm sure there are probably some different heat ranges you can use. They're Ducilier points, so when you order points you need to make sure you get the right ones. They look completely different though, so a set of Lucas points look completely different from this, so there's not much problem identifying the two. So we do points, condenser, set of plugs, clean up the rotor arm, clean up the cap. The cap and rotor arm are pretty new looking anyway, and see if it runs better, and then we'll get into doing cutting out the floor pan, ready for a new floor pan to be welded back in. And those eagle-eyed viewers out there will have noticed that the condenser was the wrong type. I'm sure this is the type for Lucas points. It has the wrong connector on it. So basically I just cut the connector off the old condenser and I've used the new one. But yeah, I'm sure someone already spotted that before I fitted it. Right then, new points, new condenser, new plugs, all gapped up. Point gap set, I've set it to 15th thou, but obviously check what they should be for your car. Brilliant, that's a bit better, runs smoother now. Right, let's get on to cutting this rusty floor pan out. Right, let's do it then. Let's get into chopping out some of this rot. So I've got a complete floor pan or a complete offside front floor pan, like a repair section, which is this whole quarter here. But as you can see, the floor's been repaired along this line. There's about an inch overlap there, which is not great, and it's rotten as a peach down the front here. The toe board behind might be okay, so I want to be a bit careful when I cut out. I don't want to cut too much of this out up here, but obviously I need to go into that inner wing. Now I'm going to make the decision, rather than replacing the whole lot, I'm only going to go back to about here, because behind here everything is okay. This is original soundproofing on the floor. There is a patch here which is a bit rubbish, which I may just cut out and redo. Now I've got to be careful how much I cut out here, because if I cut a big hole in the floor pan, then I'm going to lose a bit of strength. So the outer seals on it are actually solid. They are just cover seals, they're over seals, so they're going to get replaced anyway. So I'm going to leave the outer seal on, just and keep everything in line, make sure nothing doesn't move. I'm going to cut the floor pan out, and we'll get the floor pan sort of 80–90% back in before I then cut out the outer seal, just to keep some strength and rigidity into it. So for the moment, let's just get chopping. Need to make sure underneath that there's no fuel lines, brake lines or anything like that. Fuel lines should be over the other side. Brake lines, depending on what year it is, depends what side it'll be. But for me, and I think all Minis, actually the battery cable runs this side, so that it's round about here, so I've unclipped it from the floor underneath. So we're ready to go. Right, there we go. I've done some bits off camera because the GoPro battery keeps dying. Yeah, so it's all cleaned up now. I've had to go back a little bit further than I wanted to because this toe board angles around the bottom here, but it was just rotten, so I've had to go back a little bit further. But I'll show you the panels I've removed in a moment, but we've got good clean metal to weld to now. Let me just show you underneath. In fact, a bit hard to see the underside, but can you guess what I've done? Right at the start of this video, I've said about dropping the battery cable down and checking the brake pipes to make sure you don't cut the brake pipes. And guess what I did? Went through a brake pipe. Because there's so much underseal under here, it was just buried in it. And I just didn't notice it because it goes off at an angle round the back there. So I'll be making a front to rear brake pipe as well. It probably wanted doing anyway, to be fair. But what a numpty. Even after saying, make sure you check for the battery cable and the brake pipe and fuel pipes, I still cut through it. What an idiot. Right, so these are the bits we have off the car. As you can see, this is the floor pan here, as I showed you on there. So this is pretty poor welding along here, and when you turn it over, can you see the line here? So they just overlapped it. So, and that's the front of the floor pan, so that just water's going to get in there and moisture's going to get in there. But as you can see, it's just covered in this it's a horrible undersealer, which is a problem because I've had to scrape around all the edges where I'm going to weld now, otherwise it will just catch fire. But as you see, in some areas you look, there's 1, 2, 3 layers of metal there, and there should only be one at that point. There's 3 layers of metal there. There's 2 layers here. This is the inner corner. Didn't look too bad from inside, but once you start poking around, there's holes all over. And if you actually look at the inside, look at that. That's where that's the slinger bracket. Not much left of it, to be honest. That's the inside of the inner wing. You see this plate that has been badly welded on here. I mean, there's blown holes in it. See the fresh metal, but down the bottom here, that's filler. That pink bit there, don't know whether you can see that well, but yeah, someone put filler in there as well. So yeah, definitely all wanted doing this. I've got my repair panel. I've cut that out. To be honest, it's not a great match. If you look at the profile of the front of this lip here, it is much wider than this here. So yeah, it's gonna take some fettling to put that in. I've got the welder out. First welds of the year. They're probably going to be awful. Shall I film it? I don't know. I'll have a little bit of practice first. But yeah, I'm going to get this floor pan tacked in. Obviously, I still need to do the outer seal. I still need to do that inner wing. But yeah, just be good to get one bit struck off the list. So let me stop waffling on. Let me get that floor pan welded back in now. It probably don't look that bad from up there, but this panel fits rubbish. It's not great. None of these grooves line up. I think it's going to be a bit short at that end because it doesn't have the curve in it. Yeah, it's not fantastic, and you can spend hours and hours fettling around with the panel, measuring it, cutting it, trimming it. To be honest, in my experience, you need to get it there or thereabouts and then just tack it, and then you can manipulate it into shape and just trim any little areas you've got to trim, because you end up just chasing yourself otherwise trying to get it to fit. As you like here, there's no point me getting that right on the bench. I might as well tack it in, and then I can. Sometimes you can add a little bit of heat. The great thing about metal is it's quite malleable. You can you can shape it around a bit. So here we go, first weld of the season then. This could be interesting. So you might be able to see down this end as well. So I've got a big gap there at the moment, but this can come up. So I'll get a tack along here. That tack's all right. Where else do we want one? Let's get this magnet out of the way now. Right, all welded in now. I have linished the welds back a bit. I tend not to go too mad when it's if it's bodywork welding, you know, you don't want to see the seam, but this is a floor pan, so it needs to be strong. So I just linished the top off really. So that's good, big chunky job done today. Obviously still got that inner wing to do, but I will do that when I do the outer seals, I think. But I'm pretty pleased with that. It's a big chunk off the list. It's the first sort of major job done on the sort of bodywork and structure, and it's taken me most of the day though. I reckon I've probably been on it 6 hours. I'm just gonna put some etch primer on there now, and I might even put a bit of body colour just to protect it. Right, and there we go. I think I'm done for today now. I've etch primed it, epoxy primed it, and then I have just put some top body colour on just to give it a bit of protection, because primer is porous, so if it gets wet it will rust. And the underside is just in primer, and I've just seam sealed across the front. So pretty pleased with that. It's one job off the list of many still yet to do. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and we'll be back again soon with another update on Project Bruce. Cheers.